What terrified you as a kid that isn't scary now? Balloons. Specifically, balloons popping. When I was really young, my dad popped one near my face as a joke, but it really traumatized me. I hated going to birthday parties because there were always games where you had to pop a balloon in some form. Me too. I hated it so much and would get so scared every time, even when I knew it was coming. Why are there so many games centered around balloon popping, and why did grown-ups think it's so funny that we were scared? The video for Michael Jackson's Thriller. The very last scene where it appeared to be just a dream and Michael's looking normal, but then he turns around and stares at you with the werewolf eyes. That terrified me. And that laugh. My God, that laugh. There was a huge abandoned windmill in our neighborhood that once pumped water from the river. At random, the windmill blades would start to turn at night, never in the day. As kids that used to hang out nearby, it felt like the windmill was haunted as it came to life at dark hours. Probably a result of the metal cooling down after a day in the sun. Who are you so wise in the ways of science? Gorillas. That SpongeBob episode as a kid scarred me. I would have to close my eyes once that part came on and my brother had to tell me when it was over. My uncle, knowing I was scared of it, told me killer gorillas lived in the dark part of the basement, so every time I went down there for something, I'd sprint full speed back up the stairs. Seeing a scary thumbnail on a YouTube video and randomly think of it throughout the day. The thumbnail for Vsauce's Why Are Things Creepy? Creeped me out. So I guess it did its job. The THX logo edit, thank you. My first award. Liar. That shit is still terrifying. When I hear it I still get a little twinge of the old anxiety. Asking my grandpa a question. Man, was he intimidating to talk to as a kid. Now I love talking to him when I can. That's awesome that he's still around for you to talk to, then. I wish I'd talked to both of my grandpas more. Hades from Hercules. Now I like him better than any other villain. Nothing. Everything is 1,000,000 times scarier now than it was when I was a kid. Yeah, and if you're single, don't even get me started. Opening a can of Pillsbury biscuits. Just waiting for that pop. After unraveling the paper. Spooky. The pop is what keeps us humble. This one is completely random. The song, One Way or Another, scared me so badly me as a child. I would cover my ears when it played. My big sister worked at the skating rink and would do double duty babysitting me while she worked. They played that song exactly one time while we were there. I freaked out. It was dark in there and the song was loud and coming from everywhere. They had this little coin-operated cartoon booth, sort of like a photo booth, get in, draw the curtain, but instead of a camera, there is a television. You put in a quarter and it plays a random cartoon. I hid in there, scream, crying and kicking anyone who tried to check on me with roller skate-clad feet. They turned the music off completely so that my sister could get me out of the booth. My sister made sure that they never played it while I was there again. Another time we were watching the Muppet Show and there was a pretty blonde woman hosting. Then this bitch starts singing One Way with a bunch of fucking monsters. I jumped up and ran to my room and hid in my closet. I couldn't trust my favorite TV shows anymore either. I have no idea why I was so afraid of that song, but it genuinely terrified me. I like it fine now. That's some straight up Stephen King vibes. I can picture the dark skating ring, maybe some disco lights, sound coming from everywhere, feeling panicked and chased. Then when life gets back to normal, the song starts popping up in unexpected places like it's haunting you. Flushing the toilet. Did you watch those bizarre commercials with the talking toilet in the early 90s that scared you as a kid too? No, I watched Stephen King's It and I realize all pipes go to the same place, and if he could come out of the drain and the shower, then he can also come out of the toilet. I was always afraid of Baby Bell cheese. Not sure why, but I'm over it now that I'm older. A few months ago I bought some Baby Bell at a gas station in a tiny town while on a road trip. It tasted off and I noticed that it expired in 2018. I am now afraid of Baby Bell. That worms would come out of my shower head. A snake would come out of the toilet and bite me while I was sitting on it, especially in the middle of the night. I still check. I'm 32. My bedroom as a kid was a den converted into a bedroom/laundry room, and one wall was covered in a black mirror with gold paint flecks, very 70s. But at night the shadows combined with the dark glass and paint made me imagine faces, figures, etc. It really scared me, and I would line up my stuffed animals along my bed to protect me. I too was protected by a line of stuffed animals. The monsters didn't get me, so it must have worked. Looking at mirrors in the night. Thought they would become haunted in the dark. I'm 21 and I'm still scared to look in a mirror at night. I don't want to know what's behind me in the dark. And now I'm scared of mirrors again. Running up the basement stairs after turning off the light. JK, that shit is still terrifying. I'm 35 and I still do this. If someone says they don't, I'm pretty sure they're lying. Jesus randomly showing up during dinner. I thought he'd use the door. Clearly I was raised to fear the wrath of God. I have a reoccurring dream showing the second coming and I'm not ready. Scares the crap out of me. Most likely to me falling out of my religion. Bees and wasps. To be honest, I still prefer they don't buzz around me, but when I was little I remained a safe 5 meters away from them. A bee landed on me while I was outside today. I just stayed calm and didn't move much, and he went along on his way. Meanwhile, wasps, I'm still terrified of wasps. Large Marge. Large Marge is the only reason I refuse to show my kids Pee-wee's Big Adventure paint. I thought if you got it on you it would never come off, since it never came off of the walls. Greater than it never came off of the walls. My apartment begs to differ. And my Tesla. Seriously, what are they using in their paint? Quicksand. Really thought it was a major issue. It was on almost half of the shows I watched as a kid. I can see how you'd think that. Thunderstorms. I used to hide under the covers and could only run from the room between flashes. Now I will sit at the window and watch. I love a good thunderstorm now. All it took was a very weird 9-ish-year-old me to stand at the window during a big storm and yell things like, "Is that all you've got?" Yeah, kinda like Lieutenant Dan, but before I ever saw Forrest Gump. When I was a teenager I was home alone a lot, so when it would storm I'd run over to the neighbors. However, they never let anyone in their house, so he'd stand outside, in the storm with me, so I wasn't alone. Stay in a house where I'm dry alone, or stand out in it. Yeah, I wasn't the smartest kid sometimes. I feel like there is so much more to this story. My mom. She's dead. I also choose this guy's dead mom. Solid callback. The Bermuda Triangle, I've encountered it a lot less than I thought I would have. Same goes for quicksand, rattlesnakes in ancient temples. The dark, just kidding, I'm still a little bitch. I had to sleep with a nightlight or hall light or TV on my whole life. Then I just stopped. And now it can never be dark enough. I love hotels. Sun death. Also, I cried when I saw a black woman for the first time. My husband's cousin saw a black man for the first time whilst in a store. He was maybe 6'8". He yelled, "Look mom. A Michael Jackson." At the top of his lungs. Not Michael Jackson. A Michael Jackson. We still tease him about it. His mom was of course mortified. The area was not very diverse in the 80s. It's very weird that some people were raised with a black Michael Jackson, and some people such as myself were not. The little doll guys from the movie 9 scared me when I was like 6. Love that movie. I've never finished it. What's it even about? The movie Jeepers Creepers. I found the creeper much scarier before we even saw its face. Like it was just some deranged person collecting people's body parts and making a human quilt out of their skin. Instead it's just some demon-like creature that collects body parts to replace his own. The Beast from the Sandlot. Freaked me out back then, but now that I can see how low budget the dog looks, still an amazing movie by the way, I find it a bit less scary. Once I realized the kids were scared of a dog. I was so confused. As soon as I could hop fences I was jumping into yards to play with dogs. I have no idea how I'm alive. When I was a kid, for many years I had only seen the first half of the movie or so I didn't see the scene where the dog chases the kid through town. So I just assumed the beast was like a lion or something. Something genuinely terrifying. I saw the full movie when I was maybe 9 or 10 and saw it was just a dog and had no idea why I was supposed to be scared.